I see it as challenges that come along in my everyday teaching. Well, the one comment I could make is that I would find it very hard to deal with obnoxious kids who I've had no experience of that myself yet, and I have taught quite a lot of kids.
Okay. So if you see, we have like this, like a combination, like a description, but there are also some feelings, yes, and perceptions and assumptions, yes. But this is not the reflective part. This is just the writing, yes. Now, what is the next part? So he answers this, and then he reflects about the question. Okay. He answers, he gives some feelings, he gives some descriptions, and then he said, I found this question very straightforward, although it was difficult to merge what I saw as three distinct questions. These were the resume, the types of classes, and the types of students. Now I think that I should have said this at that time in my journal response, but probably I just lacked confidence at the start of the course. It wouldn't be a problem now. I will definitely say, hey, there are three questions here. So, I don't know if now you got the point. So the first part is writing. I answer the question just as it is, with my feelings, with my description. And then I go back. I go back probably not immediately, but later on. And then I said, I found this question really interesting. And I noticed that, and I have done this thing different. And I could have added this information that I didn't add. Yes? And then reflection comes. Yes? After I have read what I read or what I wrote in the first instance. Okay? So this is what you're going to do with your I decided to be an English teacher. Okay. So just to end, I'm just going to show you this thing about journal writing, like something what I show you in the blog. We have that journal writing is a very good way to work on reflective writing. And they are used to evaluate and develop the writing skill of our students. Journals can be used to go deeper in our lives and emotions, and as well as a venue to document our reflection. And this technique consists about what the students write about themselves in order to learn, and it's also used to write about personal topics. So remember that the name of this workshop is Keeping in Touch with Yourself and Your Students. So we already checked the first part, keeping in touch with yourselves, with reflective writing. So how can we keep in touch with your students? Through journal writing. So there are different types of journal writing, like learning journals, reflective journals, and personal journals. So learning, they give them the opportunity to reflect about what they learned. Reflective journals is reflecting and writing about their own learning process in order to transfer it to different contexts. So how can I use this in another context? And the personal journals, which I really love because I'm a very nosy teacher. Yes, I really like knowing about my students' life. Yes, so they give the students the chance to write about their feelings, opinions, and ideas about topics of their own interest. Yes. So these thematic journals or journals to get to know your students can adapt to different classes. Even you can start since they are little, and the purpose is that you know your students better, how they learn, what they like, what they don't like, their family backgrounds, their hobbies, their favorite music, their favorite TV shows, in order to apply it in your teaching. If you use journal writing in your classes, it's probably every one week or 2 weeks in your class, but you ask them, thematic journals, you give them a topic. Write about your favorite music. Not in a reflective way, just write it. The one that is going to reflect is you. Okay, so all of them are writing about that their favorite music is One Direction, the little girls. And you say, oh my God, all these little girls are into the One Direction guys. So what do you reflect on? What do you say? What are you going to do with that information?
You're gonna use it something about One Direction.
You are going to come to class
With something.
with a One Direction song or about one of the biographies of one of the singers. Yes. So, but how can I know what my students like if I don't know? And how am I going to use it in my class if I don't ask? Yes. The students don't know your Machiavellic intentions. They don't know that you will use that information for your teaching purposes. They just say, ah, yes, the teacher asked me to write about it. Yes. But that's like the richest part. Yes. Or if they ask you about, like, for example, me, I have asked them about who is the person that you admire the most. And probably you say, they are teenagers, or they are going to say like an important, like a singer or actor. And sometimes you get surprised because you say, well, the person that I admire the most is my mom, because my father left us when we were children and blah 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 blah, and then you start understanding that specific student. Yes, and sometimes that is something that we teachers lack, that personal information from our students, so we can integrate it in our classes. Yes. Okay. So what will be the benefits, okay, of applying these journal techniques? So adapt your teach techniques and activities to your students' interests, beliefs, and motivations. Create better learning environments by understanding your students. Yes. Build a teacher-student humanistic bond. Improve your students' writing skills. Make your students reflect about a variety of topics, and develop in your students the joy of writing as a way to express themselves. So, we have in this, when we reflect about our student journals, so the ones that reflect when we use students' journals is us, again, not necessarily the students. But we can also work on students reflect about their own writing. Yes, about their own writing process, and we can ask them, okay, after these 5 weeks that we have been working on writing, now what is your perception about your own writing? And then it becomes like a reflective or learning entry journal. Yes. So the journals, when we use them as a reflective tool, we use it for assessment, as the way to know your students outside the school atmosphere, like not only in the school, but what is going on outside. Their likes, their dislikes, their dreams, and the resulting response help to make you a more careful teacher next time. Sometimes, I don't know, especially me, sometimes I'm a very ironic teacher or sarcastic teacher. And sometimes I say like, oh my God, I shouldn't have opened my mouth. Yes? So, I don't know if it has happened to you, and then it comes this kid who is always like messy in the classroom and everything. And like, why you didn't come yesterday? What were you thinking? We had an exam. You start like, and they're like, Miss, it's because my grandfather died yesterday. Oh my God, like, why do I open my mouth? Like, sometimes we don't even know, and it makes us reflect about our actions and be more careful next time we open our mouths. Yes, sometimes. So now, we have I'm just going to give you an example about the reflective writing with this, like if you could work with the students. So we have descriptive writing, descriptive reflection, and critical reflection. So the critical reflection, it comes like reflective writing, yes? So descriptive writing, as I told you, is what we did, yes? It's a description of events. There's no more discussion, just the description. Descriptive reflection, there is a basic description of events, but there is an evidence of deeper consideration in a relatively descriptive language. So you use more descriptive language, a little bit of more feelings, yes? And the critical reflection is this stepping back from the events. Like the event is there, but I'm not here looking at the event. I'm here and the event is there, far away, okay? And there is an exploration of the roles of the self in these events and action. And it says, there is a consideration of possible alternatives. What could I have done different? Yes? So, descriptive, the superficial side. Descriptive reflection, a little bit about feelings and everything, but we don't tend to make any change or any reflection about that. And the critical reflection is when the problem is there and I go like an outsider and see the event from a different perspective. Yes? So, we have, this is a critical event that happened to a 22-year-old in a workplace after graduating. There are 3 accounts of the same event, giving a presentation at a team meeting. So, it's the same event, but there are 3 different accounts, okay? You have to tell me what kind of writing is it, okay? If it's descriptive writing, if it's descriptive reflection, or if it's critical reflection, yes? So I'm not going to read it out loud, I'm just going to give you like some seconds to read, and then you have to tell me, okay? Ready? What do you think it is? Descriptive writing or descriptive reflection? Raise your hand. Descriptive writing, raise your hand. Descriptive writing, descriptive reflection. Okay. So this is just descriptive writing. It just says that there are some events, but later we're going to see the difference. But it just says what happened, how it happened. Yes? Now, we have this, okay? It's the same event, remember, it's the same event, but written in a variety of ways. Ready? What is this? Very perfect. Something
Well, then it's not reflective writing.
critical reflection. Yes?
Yes.
Do you agree? Yes. Why is it critical reflection?
He's analyzing what
He's
happened.
analyzing and he's saying, oh, so now I'm feeling more positive, probably later I need to think about why a simple presentation has an effect, that effect on me. I need to think from the beginning about the process. So it is like he's doing something. Well, and obviously the other one will be, so now we're going to say, listen to, or well, not listen, like read about how this descriptive reflection is different from the reflective writing. Yes? First you start, I was scared about not saying the right things and not being able to answer questions properly. I did my presentation in my course at university and I felt the same about it initially. I realized that I was desperately trying to prove that I could present as well. I wanted to impress everybody. Trying to pretend I was confident. The more I spoke, the more my voice wobbled. Following my presentation, my self-esteem is low at work now. So you see how deep the feelings are? And actually he's not describing the event that much. He's describing all the feelings, but he's not describing the event as in the first one. That I said, I had to talk about the project, I was confident during the presentation, I felt nervous, and then they told me this and that. But here is extremely like all the things that he was feeling. Yes, the descriptive reflection. So now you see how the critical reflection is. Yes, this part. Yes, so the critical reflection is to go as an outsider. Yes, and think about why you have done this. Okay, so you have 3 minutes. Yes, to go back to the writing that you say about how you became an English teacher. Yes, and write a reflective paragraph or a reflective comment about what you wrote. Yes, I want to put the questions. Yes, so you can.